Welcome to Miss Hammarlund's science class. Today we're going to be talking about chemical bonding. What is chemical bonding? Jenny, why don't you come up here and help me demonstrate? There are actually two different types of chemical bonds, ionic bonds and covalent bonds, and I need your help to demonstrate. Okay.
A few moments later.
The first type of bond we are going to talk about today is an ionic bond. To understand ionic bonding, we first need to talk about valence electrons. Valence electrons are the electrons on an atom's outermost shell, right? You are correct! Atoms want to have a full outer shell of 8 valence electrons because that makes them stable. The only atoms that have 8 valence electrons naturally are the noble gases. How do I know how many valence electrons an atom has? That's a really great question.
A few minutes later.
All of the elements in row 1 of the periodic table have 1 valence electron. All of the elements in row 2 have 2 valence electrons. We skip all of the transition metals, but then we come on over to boron in row 13. All you need to do is take off that 1. So you have 3 valence electrons, and the same goes for the rest of these elements. For example, oxygen in row 16 has 6 valence electrons.
12 seconds later.
That makes sense, but what does that have to do with chemical bonding? I was just about to get to that. An ionic bond occurs when one atom transfers a valence electron to another. So, for example, I'm chlorine, and I have 7 valence electrons, and I need 1 more to be stable. You, as sodium, have that last electron I need, so I'm just going to take it. And now, I have my full shell, and I'm stabilized, and with you having no shell, you're stabilized as well. But didn't you say that I need 8 valence electrons to be stabilized? Actually, you can have a full shell of 8 valence electrons, or you can have no valence electrons to be stable. You're a positively charged sodium now. Huh? When an atom gives away an electron, it becomes a cation, which has a positive charge. When an atom steals an electron, it becomes an anion, which has a negative charge. And how do I remember which is which? One way to remember is to refer back to Oliver. He is a cat, and cats have paws. Cations are positive!
Ooh, you suck!
Can I see ionic bonds in everyday life? Yuppers! An example is table salt, sodium chloride, which is what we just formed. Another example is calcium chloride, which can be used as road salt. Now that I know all about ionic bonds, I want to know about the other one. What was the word You mean covalent? Yeah, that one. Well, let's talk about them.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
A covalent bond is formed when an atom shares 1 or more valence electrons with another atom. Unlike ionic bonds, covalent bonds only form between nonmetals. So, like when 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom come together to form water? Yeah! When atoms are sharing electrons, they are no longer singular atoms. They are now known as molecules. Are there any other examples of a covalent bond? Oh, Jenny, there are many. One example is hydrogen chloride. Unlike most other elements, hydrogen only needs 2 valence electrons to fill its outer shell. You have 7. So, we're going to share mine and one of yours. We are now hydrogen chloride. Hey, I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but I have another one. How many bonds can an atom form? That depends on how many valence electrons an atom has. For example, carbon has 4 valence electrons and is able to form 4 bonds to fill its outer shell. Fluorine has 7 valence electrons and is able to form 1 bond to fill its shell. And oxygen has 6 valence electrons and is able to form 2 to fill its shell. So as many as it takes to get a full shell of 8 electrons or to get rid of all of them? That is correct. I think I finally understand chemical bonding. Thank you, Miss Hammarlund. Hey, no problem. I'm just doing my job.
Moments later.
Well, I guess that means today's lesson is over. Have a fantabulous day, everyone. And don't forget, cations are positive.